Very welcome sight for Manchester City, if not for their rivals at the top of the Premier League. Kevin De Bruyne very much back in the fold and on the bench again today. Well, Manchester City's record in the FA Cup is an enviable one, 7 times winners and of course the holders. Not quite in all-conquering form in the Premier League as yet, but we shall wait and see what happens come the shake-up with Haaland and De Bruyne still to return. Well, Darren Moore, as we mentioned, masterminded a shock at this stage. Newcastle beaten at Hillsborough by his Sheffield Wednesday side. Huddersfield struggling at the moment towards the bottom of the table. Sheffield Wednesday worrying them with their upturn of form in the relegation zone in that division. They've been going along without an orthodox striker in the last couple of days, in the last couple of games, in the midst of a huge injury crisis. And it's going to be a stretch for any of these players to make a real impact today, but one man on loan from elite company, Alex Matos from Chelsea, will hope to do so on his debut. Yeah,
he looks very good. You know, I think energy up and down that right side. It's all about end product, deliveries. Can he get himself into the box, creating, possibly nick goals as well, but has that energy and pace to control that right side.
And their top scorer, such have been their difficulties this season, is a central defender, Polish international Michal Helik. Valuable at set pieces. Yeah,
I think he could be the man today. You know, I think very aggressive in both boxes, but it says something when you're scoring the goals that he does. So I think that'll be the major threat from dead ball situations.
And a man who's done the hard yards in non-league, a former scaffolder, Sorba Thomas, real FA Cup spirit about that, but a key player for them.
Yeah, he's massive, and it's from his deliveries as well, from set pieces. You know, it's right on the money, and like you say, his energy as well. You know, he's getting played up top, and he's doing a job for the team, but very, very good technical player.
So operating largely without a striker, but they have signed one in Bojan Radulovic from HJK in Helsinki. He has been signed in time to be involved from the bench, and he will hopefully give them a big lift in the weeks and months to come. Huddersfield are former FA Cup winners back in 1922 when they beat Preston. They lost a final to them heartbreakingly in the last minute of extra time in 1938 as well, the first televised final, hoping to lift themselves away from that worrying position towards the bottom of the Championship. Well, they awoke to a touch of frost this morning in Manchester. It's a very crisp and cold day, and there were suggestions that we might have had a little bit of snow around in the build-up to the game. Happily, no chance of that during proceedings. But everybody here gathering, likely expecting a pretty routine start to Manchester City's defence of the FA Cup. Huddersfield, like those that have come here before them from a lower division, hoping rather than expecting to enjoy a different fate. We'll wait and see just how much of the action he will enjoy. I have a feeling it will be only if needed.
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, I think it's going to be a comfortable game. You know, from a Darren Moore's point of view, it's about getting in their faces, trying to stay in the game, keeping it tight, not conceding goals. You know, I think it's going to be a game with a few kind of strong challenges going in. Maybe not the kind of right game for De Bruyne to get some minutes.
Well, this is a bit of a balancing act. I mean, you can't afford to be too in your face here, because you can end up just getting picked off, can't you?
Yeah, I understand. I think it'll be probably a low block. It's just trying to kind of shut City off, but most teams, even in the Premier League, try and do that to City, and they find ways with the movement, with the quality that they have. It's going to be a difficult afternoon, but it's the FA Cup, and time again it delivers a massive upset.
Well, Huddersfield did suffer their record league defeat away to Manchester City 36 years ago, when they were beaten 10-1 in a second-tier match. David White, Tony Adcock and Paul Stewart all scored hat-tricks for City that day. They will surely hope for better than that today. Real fight for the match ball that particular day at Main Road. holders walk back onto the FA Cup stage again, and the Etihad Stadium expectant that business will be taken care of in relatively routine fashion. But that is why we love the FA Cup. There is always the possibility of an upset, and if Huddersfield can pull something off, it would be the sensation of the weekend, whether he's around or not. So much pedigree in the Manchester City side, however many changes they choose to make. Well, City have De Bruyne and Doku waiting among the substitutes today as their injury situations improve. The cup holders name a strong team. Is there any other sort? Ortega, Diaz, Akanji and Grealish started last season's final. It's 5 changes from the last league game against Sheffield United. Oscar Bobb starts a senior match at home for the very first time, while 18-year-old midfielder Jacob Wright appears on a very illustrious bench. Well, Huddersfield are in the midst of a struggle near the bottom of the Championship and an injury crisis. Their top scorer is Polish international centre-back Michal Helik with 7 goals. They've been operating without an orthodox striker of late, relying on Sorba Thomas and Josh Koroma, both wide players. But new signing Bojan Radulovic is on the bench today. Alex Matos adds to the midfield on loan from Chelsea. Brodie Spencer at the back has been recalled from a successful loan spell at Motherwell. Huddersfield will wear their change strip of all black. They did recently do battle, we shouldn't forget, at the top level after that tremendous promotion under David Wagner. And Guardiola remembers tough duels up against Darren Moore, a figure that inspires respect, and he created some of the biggest headlines in FA Cup on FA Cup third round weekend last year by eliminating Newcastle with Sheffield Wednesday. An appetite that is difficult to satisfy. Even the history-making success of last season will not quench the thirst for trophies in this corner of the world. Well, it's not a non-league fantasy FA Cup story, but in the Huddersfield squad today we have a former scaffolder in Sorba Thomas, we have a warehouse worker on the bench and someone who has a forklift truck driving licence, so we're well into that kind of spirit. And those players with other strings to their bow face the most difficult task surely in the game. So it's the underdogs from Huddersfield who get us underway. Never beaten Manchester City in the FA Cup. They were regular combatants in the second tier of English football in the not too distant future, indeed, not too distant past, but indeed they met in the Premier League just a few seasons ago. And a fair old gulf between them, but Sorba Thomas making an early raid. And a confident start here, full of ambition. It's Jackson. And hooked away in the end by Akanji, but not completely. With a front foot opening and the debutant Matos involved now. Josh Koroma. Edmonds Green. Helik, their main goal threat, certainly will be a factor at set pieces. This is Jack Rudoni. Well, they're almost having as much possession as we expected them having 90 minutes in the first.
Yeah, it's what I like though, it's end product, isn't it, Daniel? You know, that Sorba Thomas gets into a good position on that right, and you know with the quality that it has that it's getting in the box, and that's what you need. You need bodies breaking the neck to get in there and try and get on the end of it. And this is something that they have to do well today. It's in that transition. When they get the ball, they've got to be brave enough and have that quality to keep possession of the ball.
Sorba Thomas seeking and keeping Gvardiol honest. Well, whether he can sustain that sort of thing for 90 minutes when they're likely to have to do a lot of chasing is a matter of some debate.
Well, you've seen that there. As soon as Man City were in good possession, Sober Thomas just put on the handbrake, didn't he? Just got himself back into formation, and that's important. They can't go chasing. This Man City side have that quality. They can just play through that press, no matter how good it is.
Huddersfield operating in a 5-4-1 formation. They do tend to operate with the 3/5 at the back, however you want to describe it. The setup not unknown. This is Grealish up against Brodie Spencer. Oscar Bob operating from this right flank. Manchester City on a big day for him. Has scored in the Champions League this season. Grealish. Kovacic. Akanji. And with barely 3 minutes on the clock, settling into more like the expected pattern. Jackson makes the challenge.
Yeah, the one thing that's where all the freedom's going to come from, is down both flanks. The one thing is they don't have that aerial presence of a Haaland in there. You know, balls getting whipped across. So Man City probably will be guilty of overplaying, but they have to make sure that they're accurate with those passes going forward with the movement that they have.
Spread by Kovacic for Bob. Rico Lewis continuing to showcase his considerable versatility. Foden. Ruben Diaz. Grealish up against Spencer. Gomez. Akanji. Nominally the right back today. How much backward running he has to do. Maybe at a low level. Some tenacious work there by Ben Wiles. Rudoni with a neat flick. Some neat progressive football that didn't get Huddersfield out of their own half.
Yeah, it's important, Sober Thomas, there when Huddersfield have that possession, and he is very much isolated up there when it comes. That has to stick. He has to be able to bring other players into play.
Rico Lewis. Bob. Akanji. Foden. Kovacic. Akanji. Bob.
Daniel, look at this. Look at Michael Herlick here, always talking, trying to make sure that defensive line's pressing up. Every time that ball goes back, they're stepping up. It has to happen, because if they don't, the movement of Man City is going to cause them all sorts of problems. As soon as it goes wide, Herlick is touching distance from Lee Nichols. They drop that deep, waiting for any cross to come in, and it's so important. Concentration levels have to be right up there.
Two big voices back there, Herlick and Lee, so crucial. This is Grealish. And Spencer making the challenge, the Northern Ireland international. All the attributes, he's quick and athletic, and his form tailed off towards the end of the calendar year at Fir Park. A really good experience in Scotland with Motherwell this season. Grealish. Well, why not have a go? Straight into the hands of Lee Nichols, who was part of the Wigan party that won the FA Cup by beating Manchester City 11 years ago.
Yeah, I think if you're Huddersfield, you're quite happy at the minute. the fact, yeah, the Man City are having to take a shot from distance. I think that just shows you how compact, how organised, how switched on they are. Shuffling the wrong. Man City have to move the ball a little bit quicker.
And they've been gifted possession back here. That's too big an ask, probably for Bob, although he does retrieve it. Not in quite as potentially as menacing a position. This is Kovacic. Bob again. Akanji.
It's the mental side of the game here as well, Daniel. You know, I think defensively you're not getting a lot of touches on the ball. It zaps the body.
And prodded forward by Rudoni. And this is Ben Wiles. Mopped up by Kovacic.
Excellent play from Kovacic here. Seen the danger, onto it like a flash, and then, you know what, keeps possession of the ball. Not a challenge, just gets his body in between ball and man, and then, like you say, Huddersfield have to go another few minutes without the ball. And it's one of those things, when you prepare for a game like this, as a manager, Darren Moore, he just says to the players, you know, you're not going to see a lot of it, but when you get it, you have to be effective with it.
Akanji. Bob. Akanji again. A lot of space created for Grealish. And Rudoni in the right place at the right time. This is Kovacic. Everyone had moved inside there, and suddenly there were acres for Grealish to operate within. He has it again here. Pellick got a foot in on that occasion.
It's the scenarios that Man City are trying. They're trying to get those 1v1 scenarios with obviously Oscar Bob and Jack Grealish, and you know that's where the joy will come if Huddersfield, if the ball's not put into those wide areas with any pace, then Huddersfield can get 2-3 players out there and try and support against any City attack.
The reason the free kick was awarded, Sorba Thomas went airing off to try and take advantage of it, but it seems that some of his Huddersfield colleagues are grateful for a rest already in the way the game has shifted momentum. A bright, enterprising start. There's Thomas. And Rahmani Edmonds-Green battling in there. Reg to his friends. Jackson. And Thomas, the flag will go up. Ortega drawn into work. VAR is in play here, but the assistant referee feeling it was so clear, Derek Eaton, that he put his flag up.
Yeah, I understand why this one is played on. You know, it's always a tight one. Sorba Thomas trying to play on the shoulder, little one round the corner. You know, it's a very good defensive line from Manchester City, but there's always a risk.
Anthony Taylor, incidentally, is along with Peter Banks in the VAR booth. And Matthew Wilkes as well. Ever-growing team. In light of some of the events that have unfolded in the Premier League this season. Which need not detain us for too long. The first 10 minutes unscathed for Huddersfield. Akanji. Akanji. Here's Oscar Bob. Akanji making progress. Bob again. Ruben Diaz. Vardiol. Grealish. Gomez. Applause for the defensive contribution of Brodie Spencer.
Yeah, it's excellent, isn't it? And that's that. You have to go and stop the cross coming in from the get-go. Positioning wise, I think the Huddersfield have been excellent. You know, I think organising, communicating all the while. They have to make sure that they keep those levels up.
Grealish. 5 City players in the area. On the way out to Gomez. Some good harrying there by Spencer, and Wiles will pick up possession and look to spring Sorba Thomas. This capacity to run beyond their greatest outlet here. Mentioned he's not a striker. I mean, you will often see him operate from wide, whether it's a wide midfield position or even as a wing-back for Huddersfield. Cruncher, deemed a foul by Matos, who will tell you demonstratively that he got plenty of the ball. As it is, Michael Salisbury sees it as worthy of a yellow card.
Yeah, you're looking at Matos there. He'd already committed to the challenge. I believe he did make contact with the ball. I just need to see if he's came through Akanji there in the process. Well, I think it's good. Well, he's left a little one now, a little bit naughty, that one as well. Strong challenge, wasn't it? You know what, Danny, I'm looking at that. He does touch the ball. I think he does take the right angle of Akanji there as well. I think it's a controlled challenge. I don't think it's a yellow card. I think it's a free kick. So I'll let you say there. Michael Salisbury's brought the yellow card out. Maybe a little bit unfortunate there, Matos.
A slightly precarious position to be in against this sort of opposition. Whenever midfield battles may unfold. Pep Guardiola in constant conversation with Juanma Lillo, one of his assistants. Suitable concern here over Manuel Akanji that Nathan Ake may have to make an earlier than anticipated appearance.
Yeah, I'm looking at it again, Dan. You know, I think it's a genuine attempt for the ball. He does get the ball first, and then it's the natural progression that he takes the right ankle of Akanji there. You know, in the Championship and EFL, that's not even given as a free kick, I don't think.
Well, I know, having talked to officials, there is kind of a sense that there is an expectation of an allowance of greater contact in the EFL, in the Championship, in League One and League Two, and they referee the games in that kind of spirit. Dangerous delivery by Alvarez, and that's the thing, you have different expectations, therefore have to have different expectations from week to week, playing in different competitions. If you're Huddersfield,
you're spot on. You know, at the end of the day, it's a challenge is a challenge, and it should be deemed and looked at in the exact same way. You know, I think you're looking at Michael Salisbury as well. I think the referee in this arena, you know, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him for all sorts of challenges. He's got to be big enough to kind of still look at it through the same vein.
Alvarez's delivery and a confident claim by Nichols. Mentioned his part in the Wigan party in 2013. It was largely confined to that. He was a player on the books of the club, not involved in the squad, watching from the stands when Ben Watson won the FA Cup so unexpectedly for Wigan. But he was one of the first to the bar afterwards, I'm told.
I'm sure he was.
This is Bob. Nichols did actually make his Wigan debut on this ground in the League Cup, conceded 5. Bob. It's opened up for him. And Rico Lewis in the way of a shot that didn't seem to be goal-bound ultimately.
Yeah, but that's what it's going to take, Daniel. You know, I think Oscar Bob there, him and Jack Grealish are trying to be the expansive. He was up against 2 there, but he just takes it into that left, and he's just trying to give the goalkeeper the eyes and go near post there. but it's going to take a lot more of that creative quality from both the wide players. If I'm going to be overly critical with Oscar Bob, he has to hug the touchline. Look at Jack Grealish, he's basically touching the line all the time and gives himself as much time and space as soon as he receives the ball, and it makes it difficult for Huddersfield to defend. He's dragging players way out of position, way out of their own zones, and that creates space for the other attacking players.
Well, the challenge appears to have made a significant mark on Manuel Akanji, and that may be the end of his FA Cup third-round match.
Well, I've just looked at that there. He's done the medial of his left knee. You can just see when he's went down. Okay, I think the challenge has come in. It's taken the right ankle or the right foot, but when he goes down, he actually opens out his left knee, and it's that medial. And trust me, Daniel, that's it is a sore one, and it just gets tighter and tighter as the more that you move there. So yeah, hopefully it's not going to be too serious, and it's just a little tweak.
So Rico Lewis is going to be on the move as a result of Akanji's departure. Mateus Nunes coming on. You can see Lewis there slotting into the full-back position. Slight misstep by Gvardiol, but Thomas was offside again, to his considerable frustration.
It's important. No, he has to make sure. I know he's playing out of position, but it's so important that when Huddersfield get any time on the ball, he has to make sure that he doesn't just kill the play. He has to make sure he's online, just be switched on. And it's a frustrating one. It's a big job. It's a hard job when you're up there on your own, but it's so important that he gives his team a breather when they're in good possession.
A player who threw his football boots into a dustbin when he was released by West Ham United as a teenager. Here's Mateus Nunes. Lewis. So a little change of position for Rico Lewis. Very adept operator in both the full-back positions and midfield, which have a lot of crossover these days.
Well, you can see that as well, and just that intelligence of Oscar Bob. He goes right inside now, more centrally, so it gives that room for Rico Lewis to operate up and down that right-hand side, because he will be so expansive. He will be hugging that touchline.
Grealish. Gvardiol. Kovacic.
So I don't mind that. Jack Grealish, he's coming in off the line, trying to make that little central run between centre-backs of Huddersfield there. Kovacic, it's such a difficult ball. There's no room for error. So you're playing into the hands of Huddersfield. They'll have that all day. I think the defensive line is excellent, stepping up, dropping in the right moments. I think that the angles are in the wide areas. That's where you're going to get your joy, but you have to have end product. You have to have balls getting whipped in between the last defender and goalkeeper.
There's Green rising. He's been operating in midfield of late. Capable at centre-back or full-back as well. Lewis. Mateus Nunes. Matos making his presence felt once more. And off he strides. Hoping for a free kick. Michael Salisbury, the referee, didn't see it that way.
Yeah, he got it wrong, the referee, in my opinion. And I think it is. Matos, he's waiting for the contact. Do you understand that? He's really got nowhere else to go. But if he could go through the back, I'm looking at that on the monitor. And to be fair, Salisbury should come out with a yellow card for a dive there, shouldn't he, really? I think he's waiting for the contact. As soon as he feels anything, even if it's just the brush of the arm, he's going to ground. He's done ever so well to get into that position. I expect more from the young lad.
Brought on loan from Chelsea, where he has made a Premier League cameo this season. And, spent much of his development in the academy of Norwich City. Lewis will get it back from Bob. Kovacic. Guardiola getting involved. Grealish again up against Ben Wiles. Foden trying to combine in the tightest of spaces. Rudoni, and now Karoma. And Thomas working out his stopping distance correctly. Brodie Spencer. Forward by Helik.
Yeah, that was an opportunity for Helik. Even if he goes back to his goalkeeper, I don't mind. Just open out, give yourself a little bit of respite there, you know, or you can try and open out and bring it out onto the left side. Sorba Thomas, I think he's working that line on his own pretty well at the minute. Good distribution with the ball there as well.
Hard to believe when you see Helik's gargantuan frame, but he was an acrobat as a youngster. Had to give it up due to a touch of jumper's knee.
Explains a lot. It does, it explains a lot.
Well, yet to have the opportunity to ruffle a few feathers in the opposition box. Johan Helik. Went to the last European Championship with Poland, we shouldn't forget. Aaron Moore took over in the autumn from the legendary figure that is Neil Warnock, after being well, disgracefully treated by Sheffield Wednesday, really. Not an ownership that are winning too many awards for good decisions, although their latest appointment looks like a very positive one.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think it was always going to be a difficult circumstance for Darren Moore taking over from Neil Warnock. You know, I think the fans loved him, the players did. The fallout that he had with the ownership, but Darren Moore has to come in and then win the fans over as well as get results on the pitch. You know, and he never really got that bounce that he would have wanted. But they're ticking along, picking up points. But it's going to be a difficult season.
One game away from the Premier League back in 2022 when they were vanquished by Nottingham Forest in the playoff final at Wembley.
Should have had 2 penalties in that.
Indeed they should, yes. I don't know whether someone was snoozing in the VAR booth that day. Lost to an own goal as well.
So I'm looking at this, Daniel, and I'm thinking Pep Guardiola will not be happy as much as Man City have the ball.
Matheus Nunes finding a nice angle, but a Huddersfield foot on the end of the cross.
You want end product, you want shots, you want Lee Nichols being tested time and time again, and at this moment in time they don't really have that figurehead, that presence in there. Yeah, it's movement, but I think with how compact Huddersfield are centrally, they're shutting up shop. So you have to create those overloads.
Oscar Bob. Now Lewis. Diaz. Foden. The inroads few. Grealish trying something a little different with the outside of the boot. And seeking a little bit of unorthodox invention, maybe betraying some early frustration. Foden. Kovacic. Lewis now. Spencer mopping up with Grealish in attendance. This is Gomez. was just that brief moment whether Grealish might have nipped in front of Spencer there as he waited for the ball to come to him. Lewis, Bob. Lewis again.
Has to go in the box here, Dan. You know, it was a great ball in, and like you said, Jack Grealish was kind of stuck on his heels, and Spencer defended pretty well. But that's what you want. You know, they're getting good areas, opportunity to put the ball in, really into dangerous areas as well, and not taking it on.
Foden trying to work the shooting angle. This could be better for City. Really flashed across by Gomez, and some urgent defending from Jack Rudoni.
Yeah, much more like it. That's what you want. You know, Gomez in a great position, fires it across, but like you say, Huddersfield defensively, they're ticking that box, aren't they? Rudoni seen the danger, made sure he got across the front. His man behind him wasn't going to get there. Good defensive challenge.
Former Palace youngster, Jack Rudoni, made his first strides at Wimbledon. For Nichols, and pressure that fell into an illegal category to his relief. And I don't know whether it was actually some grabbing going on just behind him that drew the referee's attention.
Well, I think he's very fortunate to get a free kick there. You know, I think Salisbury's given something, and I thought there was a little tug, but looking at that, he's just fallen to ground. Got a good hand to it, in fairness.
If anything, it seemed that Hellick was getting over-friendly with his opposite number yes. rather than a foul on a Huddersfield player, but there we are. Nichols did have a magnificent season when they reached the playoff final. He's just returned after time out with a concussion. Goalkeeping issues. Chris Maxwell, the deputy, has got a hamstring injury. Josh Chapman, the young Australian, not involved today. There is a bit of an illness in the camp. So Josue Bellingambi, the fourth choice on the bench. And starting to find an outlet in Gomez, who's at least prepared to deliver a ball of pace across the face.
Yeah, but it's an intelligent play. Jack Grealish is coming right in to the point of the 18-yard box. Gomez is staying wide, and you can't defend against it. You know, I think as soon as Jack Grealish gets the ball, Gomez, intelligent, just looking across the line, making sure that he's onside, and it's just creating that space. It's pulling the defender out of that position that he would usually get the block. So it's onto the kind of holding midfielders or the central, more central centre-back to make sure that they're blocking that cross that's getting whipped across the face. It's intelligent play, but I want to see it on the right-hand side for City as well. You know, Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis with the understanding that they've got.
Foden. Fall to him again. Plenty of passes, but not the ultimate penetration. Matheus Nunes, the early arrival off the bench. Foden just worked enough space to get the shot away, but no venom. I think that taken out of it by the deflection, perhaps. Yeah,
I think that's what the game's going to take, is a wonder strike, and Man City have a number of players that can score these wonderful goals. You know, but for me, Huddersfield are doing everything right. You know, really making it difficult for Man City to play through that defense, that attacking third. You know, I think their positioning, their communicating is all spot on at the minute, but they have no outlet. Sorba Thomas is dropping very, very deep. I just like him to cheat every now and again, but like you say, Huddersfield, it's basically just a attack v defence at the minute, which I think we all expected.
They've got past the half-hour mark. Remember, at this stage of the FA Cup, there is still the prize of a replay if Huddersfield can hold out. Bob. Well, that's a bit more promising from City's point of view. Lewis to pull it back. And the head of Matos in the way of the strike by Ruben Diaz. Foden's ball across. Grealish to pick up the pieces. Little rise in the noise levels around the Etihad Stadium. Neatly done, Alvarez. And finally in by Foden. And the holders open their account in the FA Cup for 2024. Huddersfield had got to the half-hour mark, but could hold out little longer.
Well, it's an excellent finish, isn't it? You know, I think you look at the phase, and it will go back. Foden here, tight angle, smashes it. There is a push on Tom Lees when the first cross that came in. Now, if VAR, and it is very present today, how far does it go back? Because there's two hands on the back of Tom Lees when the first cross comes in. It's an excellent finish from Foden. You know, I don't think Lee Nichols has any chance there whatsoever. You know, and they're always going to be a threat in those positions with the movement and Foden with the quality that he has. But if VAR do go back to when that cross comes in, it has to definitely look at that, the two hands on the back of Tom Lees.
Well, another phase of play deemed to have been entered. And that phase of play profitable for Pep Guardiola. After, I would suggest, from his point of view, a rather frustrating opening half hour.
Well, I wouldn't like to be in the Man City dressing room at half-time, no matter the score. I think with the team that he selected, yeah, they're dominant with the ball, putting the pressure on, but he wants to be entertaining the fans with opportunity after opportunity, and that's not quite worked out that way. I think from a Huddersfield point of view, very disappointed to concede a goal in a 30 odd minutes of very good defensive play, albeit you have to bring some sort of threat in the attacking end as well.
Similar time to the opening goal the last time these two sides met in the FA Cup, which was back in 2017 when Huddersfield were chasing and eventually won promotion. It was Leroy Sané who made the breakthrough that day. Sergio Aguero got a couple in a 5-1 replay victory. It's Foden to drift it. It's the fourth time they've been drawn together in the FA Cup, these two, and City have won the previous three. And twice needing a replay. Diaz. Oscar Bob. It's all about staging posts for Huddersfield. They would have been delighted to get to half an hour at 0-0. Certainly be not too downhearted if they get to half-time with a at least theoretically retrievable situation. In it goes, might fall the way of Foden, prodded forward by Karoma, asking a lot of Sorba Thomas, as they are doing today.
No, I think you're spot on, Daniel. I think it doesn't really change the game plan too much conceding that goal. I think you want to get to, say, 70 minutes and still very much be in the game. Then you can, you know, take necessary risks to try and get something out of it. You know, I think Darren Moore would have prepared his players. You know, you cannot let the body language or the mentality side drop when you concede, because more likely it's going to happen.
Gomez. And a walking pace, managed to find Nunez. Oh, and it's finally turned in by Alvarez. Well, they picked their way through, and he got enough on it to see it trickle over the line and put City in a commanding position.
Well, I have to say it's an excellent goal. You know, it might be a little bit scrappy, but Alvarez knows exactly what he's doing, exactly where the goal is, and this is what he brings. You know, yeah, the movement's there, the little link up, the little give and go. You know, it's very difficult to defend against. You know, definitely onside, but that one little miss hit. But Alvarez, he anticipates that he's gonna he's anticipating that the ball's gonna come to him. What does he do? He just steers it goalwards, and Nichols has no chance, you know, even though there's not much pace in the ball. You know, can you question the goalkeeper? Can he work his feet a little bit and just try and scoop that one out? But it's a great finish from Alvarez.
Well, the penalty box instincts are sharp, and his 13th goal of the season, certainly unlucky for Huddersfield. His 4th in 6 FA Cup ties. And Darren Moore's team are looking at miracles now. Brodie Spencer in strongly on Gomez.
It's a very strong challenge, isn't it? Spencer comes in, there's just a coming together. You know, it's a fair challenge, but when the bodies come, I think the momentum from both players there. And I think he's got a bust. Gomez has a bust nose, but it's from the foot, the trailing leg that comes up and hits Gomez in the face.
Foden and Thomas, all friends again, but Gomez in difficulty here, and it's a first half that has not passed by without cost, with the early withdrawal of Manuel Akanji.
Yes, you see with that challenge, I think Gomez came in and he protected himself with his forearms, and it's taken Brodie Spencer probably off his feet a little bit, but the leg came up from Spencer, and as Gomez turns, it's a sore one right in the face.
Absolutely it is. Osterman hugely competitive. Well, Huddersfield yet to muster an attempt before an offside flag.
Yeah, you're looking at that, and it's not good reading, is it, for Huddersfield? You're expecting, when you've got Sorba Thomas, corner kicks, free kicks, but they've not really brought any threat whatsoever, albeit they did start well and got into those wide areas. Great cross from Sorba Thomas, just never got anyone on the end of it.
If you look at that bench, you're wondering if there's a good deal worse to come in the second half for Huddersfield. But Nathan Ake did have a little trot when Akanji was in difficulty earlier. He would be the obvious replacement for the stricken Gomez here. Not that he would want to be particularly thinking about these sort of things at that stage. Well, it's never a flattering look, but an occupational hazard on a football pitch.
Oh, I've been there and I've done that. You know, I had the broken nose, packed up both sides as well, Daniel. It's not nice, not pretty at all.
Of course, it's a situation where risks cannot be taken. Touch of blood on the shirt means that in that respect there needs to be a replacement at the very least, and he will be very, very thoroughly assessed before being allowed to continue. Now, could they make an inroad here? Rudoni almost latching onto that, and had he done so, well, suddenly the picture could have changed dramatically.
That's what they have to make those moments count, Daniel. You know, I think it's an excellent ball in behind. Rudoni, I think he times his run excellently well, but you just got to take a better touch. You know, you're seeing, read the flight of the ball as best you can, and you're in behind there. You know, you're 1v1 scenario.
Key figure in the heart of their midfield. They are missing Jonathan Hogg still, the veteran who's suffering from a touch of illness. Part of this lengthy injury list that includes Danny Ward, striker who played in the Premier League against Manchester City in his Cardiff days. Matty Pearson, Josh Ruffles, Delano Bergzerg, the Dutchman who's contributed almost as well as anybody in front of goal this season.
Yeah, Jonathan Hogg's a big miss. My roommate at Watford, he was a fantastic character, but big player that puts the demands, and would be so important in a game like this. You know, he's communicating, he's dragging the rest up, and he's putting those challenges in. He covers every bit of grass there is to cover. You know, I think he leads by example, Jonathan Hogg.
Yeah, standard setter for a long time at Huddersfield. Gomez back involved, battered and bloodied, but back into this FA Cup tie. Bob. Foden. Just ran beyond Alvarez. And Joško Gvardiol, who's been nicknamed Pep most of his football career. Now he's playing for him. Edmonds Green. Kovacic.
Very surprised that Huddersfield have went long there. They don't really have any outlet, you know, with that can go and win those aerial duels. You know, I think it's so important that they can try and just play out from the back. I understand they want to try and go up the pitch and pick up second balls, but they have to do it with a little bit more quality.
There's Nunes. Some lingering looks at Kevin De Bruyne on the bench. I mean, if this kind of situation continued, I'd be extremely surprised if we see a lot of him today.
Well, in saying that, I think it would be the perfect game for him, you know, with his distribution, you know, with the balls that he can see him play. You know, I think that Huddersfield are just in two defensive banks, so, you know, I understand there's going to be some challenges going in, and probably the game will open up a little bit more towards the last probably 15-20 minutes, but I think this would be a game that Kevin Bruyne would come on and absolutely love every second of it, you know.
Well, who would enter the labyrinthian mind of Pep Guardiola? We are going to have at least another 7 minutes at the end of this first half. Those stoppages for Gomez and Akanji very much at the forefront. Couple of goals too, which require time to be added on. Playing time increasing generally this season with the edict that came in at the start of the campaign. I'm sure the people who come and watch get more playing time. This is Foden. Lewis. Foden again. Kovacic. Foden. Lewis. It is Nunes. City's favourite.
Josh Koroma just has to be a little bit more savvy there, you know, just pulling on Oscar Bob there. Yes, there's no need to give that free kick away.
Well, plenty of extra time for Huddersfield to negotiate. All not quite lost yet, but they've got to keep their wits about them. And there by Alvarez. And Diaz in there looking to hook it on.
Yeah, I thought it was a poor ball, wasn't it? Diaz really had no other option, just trying to steer it goalwards and wish for the best there. But you think with the quality of that dead ball, you know, you have to beat the wall, but you have to beat the first man as well. It was in behind the full defensive and attacking line there, wasn't it?
Lee Nichols left without a prayer when it's mattered most. Thomas, even with his considerable running power, unable to make anything of that situation. But touch of hesitancy there from Gomez just lured Spencer in, gave him a bit of hope. It breaks off Foden, that's Matos. Ben Jackson. Spencer coming in at wing-back. They actually had lost their two wing-backs that started the game against the Manchester City of the Championship, Leicester, the other day, where they lost 4-1. David Kasumu with a knee injury picked up in training. Jaheim Headley suffered an ankle injury at the King Power Stadium. Such have been their injuries and squad problems, Huddersfield. Their bench that day was described to me by one of Darren Moore's staff this week as creche-like.
Yeah, I understand, not much experience or game time minutes, but I just felt there, you know, when that ball went to Ortega, Huddersfield were half and half. There was a couple of players on the press on the height, and then there's a couple saying, oh, I want to try. You have to go, you have to all go together, not in ones and twos, try and create, force the error, and then you're in the attacking third, and that's where you get opportunities.
Guardiola. Grealish. Now Gomez. Guardiola. Ruben Diaz.
Keep working, Josh. Keep working, Josh.
Well, the vocal encouragement from Darren Moore, as audible as anything else around the Etihad. An audience often that sits back and waits to be entertained. And they more often than not are richly. Perhaps at the moment the first half that's going to linger long in the collective Manchester City memory, though. There's always the possibility of something very special unfolding. Grealish, Foden. Lewis. Oh, and it broke for Bob and then for Alvarez. And away by Leeds. He's one of a few in the Huddersfield ranks that have horror stories of previous visits. He lost 7-0 with Sheffield Wednesday here in a League Cup tie. Rico Lewis, stage set for him. Not quite what he hoped for.
Yeah, he was just caught in between, wasn't he? I think he was going to put it across first time, then he thought, well, I've got time to take a touch and possibly get the opportunity away. But this one here, Alvarez, he's always alert. He knows where the goal is, and it's just about taking the opportunity. It's a fantastic block from Matos in the end, but yeah, he's definitely the danger man, Alvarez.
Nathan Ake in particular seems to be enjoying his afternoon so far on the City bench. Micah Hamilton and Jacob Wright in the fold today, and Rodri has made the squad despite family bereavement, losing his grandfather. Gomez got a deflection on it, almost fell for Mateus Nunes. Lewis did take that out of play. Well, they faced a steadfast Huddersfield for half an hour, but then finally found the breakthrough. A lashed finish from Phil Foden, opening the scoring, and then the razor-sharp penalty box instincts after a decent move in a very tight situation from Julian Alvarez doubled the holders' advantage. A long way back, maybe an impossible way back for Huddersfield. At half-time, it's Manchester City 2, Huddersfield Town 0.
Kia, movement that inspires.
दोस्तों के बीच की बात दोस्तों के बीच ही रहनी चाहिए. Enjoy safe and secure transactions with IDBI Bank Go Mobile Plus app. IDBI Bank, बैंक ऐसा दोस्त जैसा.
एक एक्सीडेंट हो गया था. हम लोग पार्टी का काम कर रहे थे, तभी ये हुआ.
पार्टी के नाम पर आपने हमसे जो कुछ करवाया उनकी डिटेल्स हैं मेरे पास. अगर हमें छुड़वाने के लिए आपने कुछ नहीं किया तो आपको बहुत पछताना पड़ेगा.
आप मुझे जाने क्यों नहीं दे रहे? चुप हो जा, तुझे जिंदा नहीं रहना.
Welcome to the Bet365 Stadium for this Emirates FA Cup third round tie between Stoke City and Brighton and Hove Albion. The Potters are enduring a dismal run in the Championship whilst Brighton are in the midst of their greatest ever era. They're already safely navigated their way into the Europa League knockout stages and the upper reaches of the Premier League. The hosts will be hoping that this competition's tradition of surprises strikes again. Well, two clubs who've had their adventures in the FA Cup in recent seasons. Stoke City finalists 2011, Brighton semi-finalists last season, who beat Stoke, so the second year in a row that these clubs have done battle in the English FA Cup. Estupinian doesn't get there. Leris does, and just test the alertness of their Brucken in the Brighton goal. Estupinian is one of the quicker fullbacks, but he lost sight of the ball and certainly lost sight of the man, and maybe a little bit of rust on Estupinian. He's had a spell out in recent months between October and December. Stoke coming on strong now. Goalkeeper can't get there, it's an own goal! Oh! Horrible moment for Van Hecker. Unnecessary really, but unaware of his bearings. Well, they all surround Beijun-Ho, who was very alert after the ball was lazily given away in the Brighton defence. Put it into the area of uncertainty, and the tall central defender, the Dutchman, Paul Van Hecker, looks as though he's got his laces tangled. First blood, Stoke City. Reese. Arms go up, flag stays down, no VAR to overrule it, so the linesman must be certain. It's Wesley! It's very close. A big haymaker from the Brazilian. Hinshaw has come in from the wing now. There is Hinshaw, who has been eye-catching in recent weeks. One of the many exciting teenagers at Brighton. João Pedro. Kane swivels away from his defenders, and well, it was a mid-air twist from Moura. Hinshaw selling Rose shot. He gets a second stab at it, puts it in. It's the best period of pressure, this from Brighton. Estupiñán lets off a firework. Well, that has changed the complexion of this Saturday afternoon. Well, he has a reputation, Estupiñán, as a player who can hit a long shot. And that one thoroughly flew past Stoke's new keeper, Iverson. Heartbreaking for Stoke, conceding right on the half-time break. Here is the entertainer, Vidigal. Oh, it hung in the air and it needed evasive action and quick thinking from Hinshaw. A bright start to the second half from Stoke City. Well, it's clearly been given licence to get out there and get under the skin of the Premier League team. Lewis Dunk getting a little handy at the far post as well. Estupiñán, Stoke defend deeply. Dunk tries to get there, Dunk does get there. Slam dunk. Well, he was all arms and legs and an unwanted guest. Stoke must have suspected they were going to try to get it to the big man eventually. And Lewis Dunk was creating havoc. It's a 2-on-1 situation, but there's nobody stopping Lewis Dunk. His second goal of the season. Vidigal laid up too much for Berge. Has to readjust, but he gets the shot in, and it required a very important hand on it from Verhoeven. Well, it looked like there was nothing on. He hardly had any workspace. It's a very short backlift, but he got a great dig on it. Goalkeeper demands his defenders get the ball away. It looked like there was a handball in there. That's because there was a handball in there. Doesn't have the safety net of a VAR to confirm what he thought he saw. And that's, you can see, Girard's ball hit arm. Golden opportunity for Stoke. Maybe they didn't have a plan for a situation like this because there's a committee meeting going on as to who takes it. Well, the arm was away from the body. His eyes were fixed on the ball, but certainly rolled up the arm. Big moment this for Baker. Fires it in, no messing! Stoke equalise. Game very much back on. Well, there's a lot of debate. He was one of the senior heads in the team, and he rattles in his first goal in 11 months. Now Gilmore. Gross. Trapping Brighton fans screaming for their players to have a shot at goal. Frustrated by this intricate football. It's a fine head, it's a better than that, it's a brilliant goal. João Pedro to the rescue for Brighton. They answer the plea from the fans to be more forthright. Goal number 14 of the season for João Pedro. He's in hot form. 8 in 11 matches in all competitions. He may be Brazilian, but that's a good old-fashioned FA Cup goal. Ben Hecker stretches the legs and continues his run, the defender. Can he make up for the own goal at that end earlier in the game? Because it's João Pedro! A retribution for the central defender who scored the own goal earlier in the game. The creator of the second, the brace for João Pedro. Took a gamble, went on a run, given encouragement from the bench. Busted the lungs and then teed it up beautifully for the deadly young striker. Now the scoreline tells the story. Stoke had adventure in the first half, took the lead of course, forcing an own goal, but they have been bossed by Brighton. Vidigal on the outside. Easy. Victory complete for Brighton for the second year in succession. They knock Stoke City out of the FA Cup. All part of the learning exercise for Steven Schumacher. A valuable afternoon for his opposite number as well. Robert De Zerbi was able to dip very deep into his talented pool of players. The hero in the end was Estepinian, who scored that goal at a vital moment just before half-time. It was the pick of the six that we saw here this afternoon. Fizzed in 5 minutes beyond the 45-minute mark. Changed the complex of the game. Didn't exactly break Stoke, but they stuck at the task. Louis Dunk scored. Van Hecke went on an adventure upfield, and he set up one of the João Pedro goals to erase the memory of the own goal after 16 minutes of the match. 6 goals in it, 4 of them to Brighton, 2 of them to João Pedro, 2 to Stoke. Final score, Stoke 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 4.
the walk. Yeah. I talk the talk. I play the part. Right. I do it all. Set it. You know the name. I got the game. Ruling this world is my legacy. Bling bling, my chain. I reign with my energy. Get at your game.
The biggest teams are all set for the glory. Chelsea versus Preston North End. Manchester City versus Huddersfield Town. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Wigan Athletic versus Manchester United. Live on Sony Live. Speed. Stamina. और स्किल्स का अल्टीमेट फ्यूजन। देखिए अल्टीमेट खो-खो 24 दिसंबर से 13 जनवरी तक लाइव सोनी लिव पर।
We'll see what Huddersfield can muster in the second period. So City get the ball rolling in the second half. The holders in command of this tie. Can they build on the margin? Or will there be that one bounce of the ball that changes everything for Huddersfield Town? No further substitutions at half-time. If you joined us late, there was an injury to Manuel Akanji in the first half, which heralded the introduction of Mateus Nunes in midfield. So a change of position for Rico Lewis from where he started the game. And Huddersfield in that familiar bank of five, with a bank of five in front, Chris.
Yeah, I think it'll be very similar from Huddersfield. You know, I think, okay, they've conceded 2 goals, but other than that, very, very professional, disciplined, organised. I think Man City more so. I think Pep Guardiola would have definitely had some harsh words to be said about the movement, the speed of pass. I think, and no surprise to me, I think the likes of Foden and that, getting the ball a little bit deeper. I think they're trying to suck Huddersfield out, so there's a little bit more room in behind, which I'm surprised the players never took that on in the first half as well. Don't allow Huddersfield to sit right on top of Nichols, their own goalkeeper. Try and bring them out, and then there's more space, more room for error, and with the movement of Man City, I'm sure they'll get in behind.
The potential of introducing, as we saw momentarily, Kevin De Bruyne from the bench. And when you look at the Premier League table and see Manchester City in almost positively subterranean territory by their standards, down in third, so hard life, the names Haaland and De Bruyne kind of sum up why that might be the case. But here's an opportunity for Oscar Bob. Comes back out to Kovacic. Well, City with an opportunity there to settle any lingering doubts there may be. And there was almost a great moment for Oscar Bob, who, remind you, is starting a senior match here at the Etihad Stadium for the first time today.
Yeah, that chance never really presented itself in the first half. Oscar Bob coming in off the right and opening up the goal, but he's finding the ball basically in near enough the corner of the 6-yard box there, and just trying to open up the goal and get the shot away.
Manchester City very much the premier force in the global game. You go back 100 years and Huddersfield were the team in England, won 3 successive league championships, won an FA Cup as well during that period. Had some great names associated with them in their time. And an opportunity that Sorba Thomas thought he had is denied him by the offside flag.
I think you understand Sorba Thomas. He's always trying to play on the shoulder, but he's such a strong runner as well. I don't think he has to gamble too much. Just make sure you're onside and you're allowing your team to get up the pitch. If he's onside there, Man City have to come back and throw bodies and get into defensive positions, but you're also allowing your team to get up into attacking areas, and you never know, but no threat whatsoever in the first half. That needs to improve.
Vardiol. Space for Rico Lewis to move into, faced by Jackson and Josh Koroma. Job more of a defensive one today. Such is life. Didn't quite break for Grealish there. Ben Wiles can mop up. Pep Guardiola, it seemed, fielded that one on the full. Get him in the outfield during the summer.
Still do a job. I guarantee it.
It's Bob. Gomez arriving. Oh, it was the old skills that were on show. This is Kovacic, Foden.
Yeah, you can see here the distance between the defensive and midfield line for Huddersfield is a little bit bigger. You know, it's getting stretched a little bit. I think that's down to Man City. Those attacking players are receiving the ball a little bit deeper, and it's difficult to defend against, Daniel. You know, when you're the right and on top of you, yeah, that's when it's easy. You're staying compact. But at the minute, Huddersfield are getting stretched. Man City are getting a lot more freedom. And
the challenge is growing by the minute, as City hope the margin of their lead will. Sorba Thomas. A diet of scraps for a player having to do a very selfless job. Has been their player of the season by common consent. He's being asked to do a job that would not necessarily be of his choosing, and hopefully the new recruit will help lighten the load. Bojan Radulovic, who's been scoring goals by the bucket load for HJK of Finland in both domestic and European competition. That's Spencer making his presence felt, as he did on Gomez in the first half. City favouring the right-hand side, and the involvement of Rico Lewis. Here's Mateus Nunes. Possibly a little more productivity from the left in that first half at times. Gomez with a couple of deliveries that needed defending. And the second goal came through the inside right position. This is Bob. He's worked it inside, but outside that near post.
Yeah, I think it was the right thing for Oscar Bob to do there. Excellent bit of how he manipulated the ball. You know, excellent run, good awareness as well. You can't back off from there. Great quality to come through, and he's trying to just kind of give the goalkeeper the eyes again, trying to just sneak it into that near post. I think sometimes it's just try and feel it into the far end. If the goalkeeper gets a save, then it's coming back out into attacking players coming onto that one there. But good quality again from Oscar Bob.
Seeking his first goal in domestic competition for Manchester City today, having struck against Crvena Zvezda, to translate it, Red Star of Belgrade. Champions League. Kovacic. Well, his time will come before the end of the season. The other more noted Norwegian in the Manchester City ranks. Gomez. Ruben Diaz. I wonder whether he might just give it a wallop there. The space opened up invitingly. Bob, Foden, Grealish, as central as we've seen him. Gomez, Grealish again. And now Diaz won't pass up the opportunity, but Matos is in the way.
Again, Huddersfield working very, very hard without the ball. You're looking at Rico Lewis and Gomez, you know, staying as wide as they possibly can. So hard to defend again, but Man City aren't really using it. So surprisingly enough, they don't need to. They're not missing the man. I think they can go out to the likes of Gomez, go out to the like Rico Lewis. That big switch of play, and that moves Huddersfield around. well, it's a scary pairing, isn't it? You know, Doku, who's so direct, isn't he? He's lively. He'll run through 3-4 players, and he has that quality to have end product as well. And then De Bruyne, who can see any pass and play any pass and bring goals to the mix as well. So it's a perfect game for De Bruyne, this.
The man who got the second goal will be withdrawn. Who got the second goal will be withdrawn. An injury at Burnley in the first Premier League match of the campaign. He returns to the stage for Manchester City. And well, it's the end of the day for Julian Alvarez. He shows he's more than just the able deputy. And for Jack Grealish, the excitement surely now reaches a peak with the maestro back on the field. He, in the months to come, may well be the difference between third place, where they currently lie in the Premier League, and the position where they wish to be.
Yeah, well, it's what we all expect. You know, I think it was very interesting, Pep Guardiola just a couple of weeks ago saying, look, we're not the best team in England at the minute. He says, but we're right up there, and let's just see where we're going to go. And it's important, isn't it, with the players that are coming back, Haaland and with De Bruyne. We know what's going to come, don't we? It's just about who can kind of keep that pace up with them.
The reception probably as big an outpouring of appreciation as we've heard at the Etihad today. A penetrating run here from Mateus Nunes. A possibility for Bob. And he finds the net. A moment to enjoy for Oscar Bob. And any lingering doubts have well and truly gone.
We'll have to say this is an excellent run from Nunes here. You know, he gets in, and Oscar Bob is right up there trying to give him a little support. Great little touch, awareness, way to pass. I think Oscar Bob is just trying to dink it into De Bruyne. A little deflection there into the back of the goal, and to be fair, Nichols has no chance there.
It comes off Ben Jackson in the end. And you would think that it will have to go down to the Huddersfield man, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, you know, I think Jackson is just trying to get his body in the way. You know, block, it's he can't do anything there. And Nichols is already committed to the cross. To be fair, if it doesn't come off Jackson, I think De Bruyne, there'd have been a nice little tap in at the back post area. But yeah, you know what, he's up there beside Nunes. He's aware, trying to make things happen. And yeah, a little bit fortunate to get the goal, but probably deserved on the possession stats.
Well, he'll certainly take it. As I mentioned a moment ago, he was coming out here seeking his first goal in English domestic competition for Manchester City. And 3-0 it is. He's following in just in case his presence was needed. The decisive games have ended in this competition between Manchester City and Huddersfield, with City winning by at least a 3-goal margin. It was 5-1 in 2017, 3-0 in 1988. Andy Hinchcliffe, David White and Imre Varadi on the score sheet, and 4-0, which would have been a big result for City against a very strong Huddersfield side back there in 1926. Well, the game is up for the Terriers, you would think, unless Thomas can make something of this. And Diaz is in trouble. Sorba Thomas! Well, that was surely the moment to at least make it interesting, although they might yet fashion a chance here through Matos, who's certainly tenacious, but that tenacity matched by Oscar Bob defending back there.
It's a big opportunity, isn't it, though, Daniel? You know, I think Sorba Thomas He's done everything right. He's put pressure on the opposition player. The ball comes into his path very fortunately, and I think he's got time to take it round Ortega there. He's tried to just slip it through the legs. It wasn't on. It's a massive opportunity. He's done everything right. Got time, probably too much time to think about it. He can actually just open it onto his left and slot it into an empty goal there. That's the opportunities that they have to make count.
So it is a change and a debutant for Huddersfield. Alex Matos, the midfielder signed on loan from Chelsea, replaced by the Serbian striker Bojan Radulovic, acquired from HJK Helsinki, HJK as they would call themselves, formerly of Brighton. He was actually recommended to the Seagulls by Roberto Martinez, where at a time when Tottenham were also chasing him.
Yeah, I think this just changes things up a little bit. I think Sorba Thomas will be delighted. He's on that right-hand side. He can go and join in, but they've got an outlet now. Can they go a little bit more direct with a little bit more quality? And it's down to Radulovic just to make it stick, bring other players in.
Well, there you are. Just a moment after they have a chance ideal for an out-and-out goal scorer, and he comes on the field, 90 seconds later?
Yeah, and it's one of them. I think if it does fall to Radulovic in that position time and time again, it's probably in the back of the net. But in fairness, I think Sorba Thomas has done a very selfless job today, leading the line, coming back. But this is where, as a striker, Radulovic will cheat. You know, it's that we have it in us. We've got it instilled in us that can you be a little bit lazy? Can you cheat? And sometimes it plays in your favour.
Moving ball there at the corner. Just have to do it all again. All that aerial muscle that Huddersfield have is rarely tested in these situations, but this will go in the box for Diaz to attack. Doku. That's Rudoni. Blonde-haired beacon out there. Maybe a commentator's favourite, there's no doubt about that.
That's just Phil Foden there. Defensively seen Sorba Thomas. Great little ball down the channel as well from Huddersfield. But that's part and parcel of it for Man City. You know, it doesn't matter. Alvarez done it in the first half. You see the danger. Defensively, you've got a responsibility to the team.
Well, barely a pass goes astray for Manchester City. Dizzying stranglehold on possession. Radulovic, one to fight for potentially. He's got pretty quick feet. He's a big guy. Only 24. And it's often the case that strikers from that part of the world, they may have size and presence, but they're more about the technical side. And Foden slipping it through, and a very telling foot in by Helik. And wouldn't reach De Bruyne as a result.
Well, I think you've already noticed Daniel De Bruyne at every opportunity. Can he go and break the line? You know, he's trying to kind of rather than be the one on the ball and making things happen. It's just all about fitness for him, isn't it? You know, he's been told to make those runs, be a threat in behind, and
well, beautifully teed up and fabulously finished by Foden. The moment of the match. A glorious goal to embroider the occasion. And all smiles for Manchester City.
What a finish. What a finish. You know, they tried it earlier on. Quick corners, movement, good awareness. It's a little set, isn't it? What in it? You know, Nichols has no chance. Foden, he's coming onto it with the quality that he's got, just opens the foot, hits it with pace and just bends it into that bottom left-hand corner. It's an excellent finish. Nichols sees it all the way as well, Daniel. No chance, no chance. What a finish.
Well, a double for Phil Foden. Precision. He's racked up now 12 FA Cup goals in 22 appearances in this competition.
Not surprised. Not surprised. Just a fantastic talent that loves every minute, doesn't he? Smiling all the while, enjoys every game. It's infectious.
And such is the quality of the Manchester City squad that they could afford to leave him on the bench for the final last season in the FA Cup. We have Ortega, Diaz and De Bruyne, who started that match against Manchester United, out there on the field now. Kanji lost to injury and Grealish substituted. Rodri is on the bench, as is Kyle Walker. To occasionally, well, almost the back heel from Foden. To anybody waiting, it's De Bruyne. Bob, Kovacic, Foden again, hat-trick hunting. Oh, dazzling work by Doku. Well, they conceded 4 to the Manchester City of the Championship, if you like, in their last league game. They'll do well to keep it at that as De Bruyne whistles one in.
Yeah, they've just upped the tempo, haven't they? Doku, he's going to bring that. He's unstoppable, isn't he? You know, I think he can go right, go left, but its end product, he's trying to find Phil Foden there as well. But defensively, Huddersfield are up to the challenge. Rudoni gets the ball at the edge of the box. There's 4 Man City players round trying to get the ball back. You know, it's about what they do without it as well as what they do with it, for me.
I'm sure Pep will tell you can't have one without the other.
Exactly. The best teams out there are very, very good at both.
Might run for Radulovic here, possibly more for Thomas. Lees. I mentioned he's been on the receiving end of 7 here with Sheffield Wednesday before now. Ben Wiles likewise with Rotherham in his time. It's all about a bit of personal preservation. I mean, the best team in the Championship last year came here in the FA Cup and conceded 6 goals, Burnley.
See, the thing for me now is Huddersfield, I think it stays very much the same, because you don't want to open up and then you concede so many goals. You want to try and take some positive into your league form.
We certainly need more positives in the league form. 1 win in 8 games. And enduring a really testing time. We've also lost a very good central defender, Yuta Nakayama. He's on duty with Japan at the Asian Cup at the moment. He certainly would have been in the starting lineup today and been a very useful presence too. And look, some enterprising stuff here from Huddersfield, and possibility for Thomas. Radulovic, Rudoni and Wiles are up there, but Vardiol is back there. Thomas again to deliver.
Yeah, it's good quality. Thomas down that right-hand side. You know, I think the first ball in, very unlike him now. Radulovic, I think, was making the correct run. He's probably went to the back. I think he's got to run across the front of his defender there. And then that second ball from Thomas, too close to Ortega there, but he's got every right. Again, can an offensive player try and put some sort of pressure or try and get across the face of the goalkeeper there? It was a good little break. You know, I think Radulovic made an excellent run through the centre, and just that, there's so much room for error. The full have to run into, just clip it over the top rather than try and pass it through.
This is Bob. Mateus Nunes. Runner making a move into the penalty area. So trying to cover as many miles as possible. By the look of it, to help build up his fitness. Lewis under pressure.
I think when you come back from a timely layoff, Daniel, you know what the body needs. You know, I think you can go and train for 4 or 5 weeks, but when you're in a match case scenario, you know what you need yourself to get yourself up to speed. And like you say, he's probably set himself a little challenge to try and just make sure it's all those little quick sprints here, there, in behind, already with the ball. He's had that shot from distance, nowhere near, but he's just trying to kind of work every muscle, make sure everything's firing.
Just scooted off him there into the path of Thomas. It's a cue for Brodie Spencer to make strides forward. Well, cannot afford in their situation to make not very good use of those situations.
It was a great bit of quality. Wiles, little back heel. I've got to say, Brodie Spencer found himself in an attacking area. I think he's got to put it into Radulovic there. You know, it's like just clip it in. You know, you've got that aerial threat in the box. He's trying to pass it again to, I think it was Wiles that was trying to go on the other end.
Rudoni in the way. Radulovic has played in the Champions League qualifiers, both the league qualifiers and the Conference League in the last 12 months. Scored a few goals in Europe this season. There's 26 in all competitions throughout the calendar year. Rudoni has secured a free kick, the foul by Rico Lewis.
Good quality there from Rudoni. Never really had much on, you know, and yeah, Rico Lewis is a lazy challenge, wasn't it? He turned his back on it, stuck the leg out. Referee spot on with that one.
Well, it's tempted the chief threat in this situation. Hellick forward. Lee's in there too. It's Doku. And now Brodie Spencer. Radulovic, now Ben Wiles. Kovacic in there with the challenge. Flooring Wiles, but fairly so. De Bruyne. Oscar Bob. De Bruyne, possibility here. Doku! Well, the high quality that was residing on Manchester City's bench has come to the fore. De Bruyne making it, and his fellow Belgian Doku sweeping it home.
Well, I'm trying to think what's better, the ball to Doku or the finish itself. For me, I've got to give it to the finish. Excellent quality, and I've got to say, Radulovic and Wiles there got caught. You know, great play with Radulovic. Wiles gave it away. De Bruyne starts that, but look at this. Round the outside, getting up to, definitely onside. But this pass, knows exactly where Doku is. It's an excellent finish to take it on the half volley there. It's such a difficult technique, but De Bruyne, just with that awareness and the quality of assist as well. It's an excellent finish, isn't it? Through the legs.
It's high class stuff from those that have arrived on the stage late. They've made up for lost time. And that's Doku's 4th goal of the season. A player described by Pep Guardiola as a proper winger. A proper Manchester lad. Jacob Wright, who's been with Manchester City since the age of 8, is going to come on and make his debut here. Well, a treasured moment for him.
Yeah, it's outstanding, isn't it? You know, I think it's something that kind of resonates with all the fans as well. They like to see homegrown talent, product coming through and given the opportunity as well. So no, delighted, absolutely delighted for the young lad.
Foden with a couple of goals today, the one that opened Manchester City's account, and then it now has serious competition for goal of the match, but a beautiful finish to make it 4.
Yeah, it's just what he brings. You know, he's had a few opportunities from distance, but that one was just quality. You know, it's just about guiding it in.
So Micah Hamilton and Josh Wright on. Hamilton has already made his presence felt in the first team this season, scoring against Crvena Zvezda in the Champions League. Gomez. That's a confirmation of the double change, which has seen the departures of Kovacic and Foden. And here is Hamilton, one of those who's come on. And the other is Wright. Here he is. Slot into that midfield position. Doku. Gomez. Hamilton in behind here. And Helik still alive and alert.
Yeah, they're getting asked a few more questions now. Huddersfield, you know, Micah Hamilton, again, good quality, timely run, great little touch, and then has the composure. Not just to whip it across, but just try and feel it in there. But good defending in the end from Helik.
De Bruyne. That's the head of Rodoni, and really fizzed back in there from Sergio Gomez.
I think it's a fantastic effort from Gomez. You know, I think Nichols, yeah, he was scrambling a little bit, but just good awareness. De Bruyne with that first cross coming in. Man City picking up the second ball. I've got to say, Nichols is reaching for that, always rising.
Doku. Bob. De Bruyne. Gomez get in behind. Jackson tussling with him. He's unfortunately going to leave today with the letters OG next to his name on the score sheet. And De Bruyne's delivery. Lewis. Hamilton. Right. A debut for Hamilton, a home debut. Hamilton's been with City since the age of 9. His first impression he made here was when he was a ball boy in a game against Crystal Palace, and Pep came across to him to give him some instructions.
It's unbelievable, isn't it, now, the history, even Phil Foden as well, the stories, it's ball boys, it's excellent, isn't it? It's great for whole back.
Doku's delivery.
Yeah, I'm expecting more from Doku in that situation. You know, in fairness, I think players have got to make his mind up there and try and get across the face, and he's trying to lift it, but he can just pass it across the face of goal there for someone to come on to. You know, but yeah, it just shows you the wealth of and quality and depth that City have. It is with these young players coming through, and already with the moments of quality and glimpses that we're seeing is sheer quality.
Well, Josh Koroma departs the scene and will be replaced by Some produce from Huddersfield's academy. That's Brahima Diarra, a Parisian who's been with the Terriers since he was 16. Rudoni. This could be interesting, but not quite. Well, there's quite a difference in end product.
Well, there's a lot of room for error there from Rudoni. You know, I don't think he had to put so much. What makes it difficult is Ortega is doing that the sweeper role. He's way out the 18-yard box, just ready for it, and that does put a little bit more pressure on Rudoni. But he just has to clip it over the top, or even try and play around the outside of the offensive defender there, just for Silva Thomas to get on the end of that one, because Silva Thomas is such a strong runner.
Extra pre-season work on Porthcawl Beach, certainly in South Wales, started his revival in the playoff campaign. Didn't quite run in there for Oscar Bob. It's away by Jackson. We'll take a sweeping up there. He's not quite played centre half as Edison does these days.
Very true, yeah. But it's just that, I think it's a responsibility now of all goalkeepers. They have a job to do for the team in that sense.
Right. Well, he is a Manchester City player now, all right. The first team debut, sharing the field with legends of the football club. And nicely round the corner. Oh, and those dancing feet of Bob. Is there going to be a penalty? No.
We're waiting to see this one, Daniel. You know, it's great quality from Oscar Bob. He takes it through his players. I think he tries to dive and header it in because the ball's just getting away. He has no other option. He tries to put it in his head. It's unbelievable. You know, it's great quality. There is pressure defensively on the back of him. I don't think enough to warrant a penalty. There might have been a little clip of the ankle there, actually, when he manipulates the ball, but...
Well, generated an FA Cup memory from the dim and distant past, that Andy Gray at Notts County for Everton back in 1984. I'm sure you'll be able to find it on the internet somewhere, but one of the rare headers from almost underwater on the Meadow Lane pitch. It was only about 3 inches off the floor. The year Everton won the cup.
Take it. Goal's a goal, isn't it?
Well, Phil Foden has done his job of work. Huddersfield's biggest FA Cup loss was by 6 goals to 0. Tell you what a commentator does at the latter stages of Christmas. It was at 6-0 against Sunderland at Roker Park back in 1950. There's a couple of great players, Ivor Broadis and Len Shackleton, the Clown Prince of Soccer, got a couple of goals each that day. But they're going to safely avoid the 10 they conceded infamously in the old second division back in 1987, 87-88 season. Malcolm MacDonald was the Huddersfield manager just into the job. I remember my highly esteemed colleague Martin Tyler asking him in the post-match interview, "Where'd you go from here, Malcolm?" "Leicester in the Full Members' Cup on Tuesday," was the answer.
Yeah, so on to the next. It's the way you have to.
De Bruyne. Hellick meeting on that near post, but it'll be picked up by Hamilton. Lewis. De Bruyne. Change of pace. Hellick to relative safety. Not trying to force it. And the opportunity for another will surely come. Well, I wonder what grade he'd give the performance.
Well, I think it's been an improvement second half. I think, yeah, it stands as you know you're going to have more of the ball. Never thought they moved it quick enough, really asked too many things of Nichols, but second half, I think it's been energy.
Here's Radulovic, first opportunity for him! The first real work for Ortega this afternoon, and a shout for handball. But in the end, that's all it is.
Well, it's a great save from Ortega. You know, not asked many questions, if any, at all. You know, Radulovic, excellent quality, brings it on to his right, opens up the full goal, hits the target, but I think Ortega saves it with the chest, the neck, the face, whatever it is, does his job.
And Thomas. You see the flag go up against him, but first opportunity for the new man.
It's great quality, a little way to pass from Sober Thomas. That's fantastic how he manipulates the ball, has to stretch at it. It's a fantastic save. I've discredited there Ortega, I think, with the hands, isn't it? That reaction save, because Radulovic throws himself at it, slides and gets the contact and gets pace on the ball as well. It's an excellent save.
Well, he's keeping the standards up. Been a spectator for 87 minutes and then produces an excellent bit of work. Started every FA Cup tie last season, Stefan Ortega, and I imagine he might be starting quite a few this year. 6 years since they were eliminated from this competition before the semi-final. That was by Wigan. Back in 2018, at the 5th round stage. And it's going to be at least 13 years if they are eliminated next year in the 3rd round. It'll be the first time since they lost to Manchester United in 2012 at this stage. And while that's rather painful, I think forgivable. A gentleman by the name of Ferguson still in charge of United at that point. That's how long ago we're talking. So a change in midfield there. Tom Yopenda, wearing number 39, makes his debut. And like Radulovic, former member of the Brighton Academy. Only 18. Right. Or maybe De Bruyne. A free kick in Huddersfield's favour.
Yeah, and also Bob, as soon as he gets the ball, I think he loses control and throws himself just to try and get some sort of contact. De Bruyne is breaking his neck to get beyond, and Doku on that left-hand side as well. But yeah, the referee positioned well, spot on with the decision. It is a free kick.
Perhaps a little merciful in terms of the added time for Huddersfield. There is Yopenda. There's a player they've got a lot of hopes for Huddersfield. He was in the squad at Leicester the other day. Been with them for 3 years now. Had a spell toughening up at non-league Hyde United on loan last season. Got a lot of quality as a box-to-box midfield player. This is Doku. Hamilton. Well, 1-in-1 in his City career coming into this. Desperate to keep up the ratio if a shooting chance presents itself.
Definitely.
De Bruyne. Get a free kick. Foden receiving the acclaim as a player of the match within the stadium, but his cameo role impressive. Worrying, I think, if you're another Premier League team. Will doubtless make his presence felt over the coming months. He is the man who has made the biggest contribution today, Phil Foden. There's a sense that Gomez fancies this. And maybe De Bruyne will pull rank.
Yeah, I think so.
No, it will be Gomez. Here's De Bruyne. Doku. Diarra making tracks. Spencer showing that athleticism again, but not perhaps demonstrating a timing of challenge that was appreciated by Joško Gvardiol or the referee. So a yellow card for him.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there from Spencer. You know, he was getting nowhere near the ball. It's a late one, and then he's kind of half pulled out, but it's a sore one, that.
The debit column, as we confirm the yellow card, as the loss of Manuel Akanji to injury today for Pep Guardiola, but the bonus, De Bruyne getting some match miles on the clock. In the end, every bit as comprehensive as we expected it to be. The holders in routine fashion march on. Oscar Bob forcing an own goal from the player. He is swapping shirts with Ben Jackson to absolutely eliminate any doubt. It was Phil Foden who started it all, striking after 33 minutes to open the scoring, then getting a fourth, which was a moment to savour. Julian Alvarez also on target, and the Belgian pair of De Bruyne and Doku combining brilliantly off the bench to make it 5. De Bruyne's return a bonus, a place in round 4 assured by emphatic victory. Manchester City 5, Huddersfield Town 0.
हम इस उम्र में ऐसे रहेंगे क्या?
बिल्कुल रहेंगे, अगर पापा जैसी सही प्लानिंग की तो।
पर हमें तो इस एज तक वेट करना पड़ेगा ना?
बिल्कुल नहीं, हमने तो अभी इन्वेस्ट किया है LIC के न्यू जीवन शांति में, जो हमें देगा डिफर्ड एन्युटी, मतलब कुछ साल बाद से रेगुलर इनकम।
LIC के एन्युटी प्लान्स दे एन्युटी ऑप्शंस और नियमित इनकम पाने में फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी भी।
एक एक्सीडेंट हो गया था, हम लोग पार्टी का काम कर रहे थे, तभी ये हुआ।
पार्टी के नाम पर आपने हमसे जो कुछ करवाया उनकी डिटेल्स है मेरे पास। अगर हमें छुड़वाने के लिए आपने कुछ नहीं किया तो आपको बहुत पछताना पड़ेगा।
आप मुझे जाने क्यों नहीं दे रहे? चुप हो जा, तुझे जिंदा नहीं रहना।
speed, stamina और skills का ultimate fusion.
This is sensational stuff. This is absolute magic.
देखिए अल्टीमेट खो-खो 24 दिसंबर से 13 जनवरी तक लाइव सोनी लिव पर।
There's nothing permanent except change.
The big daddy of all projects. You sure?
Yeah, damn sure.
And there they come again. Oh, superb!